Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Dawnbringers, The Forge of Fury, Season 2, Episode 7, Intruder Alert. We are so glad to have you joining us tonight. I'm glad to have all of these amazing players back together again. I think it's been a few weeks since we've had all 5 of them here. We had a couple weeks where we had no Scotty, so we played a couple other things. And then last week we were missing Megan. But this week we have everybody here. So that's wonderful. Before next week when we'll be down somebody again. But we're still going to play. We'll just figure out what we're going to do. We might have to pop somebody else's head off. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to want to watch episode 6 or pay close attention to this recap that's going to be coming up very soon. A couple of announcements. A couple of announcements. The usual, there's a scroll at the bottom of the screen that explains what these are up above my head. These domain dice are a way that you, the viewer, can participate and offer a little hand of fate to these players and influence their dice rolls. The rules for what the dice do are down below in the scroll, or you can type domain dice over in the chat on Twitch, and that will be explained. 1 domain dice can be purchased for a single $5 donation. Down below the video is the donation bar, or 500 bits. All of that gets a domain die that, believe me, they use these things. It might not look like it because they got a lot up there, but as they go up in levels and the situations get more dangerous, they're going to start going through those a lot more, or they're going to wish they did. Another thing that I talk about each week is, of course, the 10K giveaway, which there it is. I was going to say, I must have typed it wrong. The link is in the description. All you got to do is click on it, and for absolutely free, there are numerous ways you can get entries. You must be a resident of the United States or Canada, excluding Quebec, because they got weird rules over there about contests and such. But you can win one of 3, they're right here behind me, Game Masters bundles that include a D&D 5e starter set, a pack of minis that are pre-painted that match the pre-gens in the starter set, a package of 6 dice sets, and 1 lucky winner will get all of that, plus a player's handbook, monster manual, dungeon master's guide, and dungeon master screen reincarnated. Everything you need to get started on your own adventures at home. So click that link and enter. Now, the last announcement before we get to playing is something I'm very excited about. If I'm not mistaken, now I realize, Ted, I'm going to say everybody here, you're representing Nerdarchy here. So in a way, everybody here is participating in some way in the event I'm about to announce. I believe Dave is playing in one of the games from Nerdarchy. But I'm going to switch screens here to show you this awesome graphic, if I do say so myself. This graphic, Jasper's Game Week. I'm excited. We just announced this officially yesterday on Twitter. Mini Terrain Domain presents Jasper's Game Week, an epic live stream event. That's 5 days, 40 hours, one great cause. Happening right here, May 12th through the 16th, from 4 p.m. to midnight Eastern every day. There will be 3 games taking place, raffles, auctions, giveaways. We are very soon going to be announcing how you can, through a simple donation, enter a raffle to win a seat at one of the flagship games, what we're calling flagship games, each day. The game that takes place at 8 p.m. each day. For example, the game on the, I believe it's on the Sunday night. The flagship game is DM'd by none other than Web DM Jim. So there is an open seat for a raffle in that game. There's another game. You know what? I hesitate to say who's in the other games because I can't remember. Follow MTD at MTD_Jake on Twitter to stay up to date on all of those. Also, be sure to follow at Jason T D&D DM. He is our games organizer, is doing a fantastic job with that, and is getting all of these things coordinated, and will be revealing over the next couple of weeks who is in all of our games. Now, this last part is very important, so you know we are doing this for fun, but also for a very important cause. As you can see at the bottom of the graphic here, if you are out there, if you're feeling lost, if you need help, don't hesitate to call the National Helpline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 273-TALK. Or text 741-741. That is the National Helpline. This Jasper's Game Week is actually associated with the flagship event, Jasper's Game Day, happening on May 11th in, I'm drawing a blank on the Howell, Michigan, at Zig Games, which is the founder of Jasper's Game Day is Fenway Jones. You can look up Fenway Jones on Twitter. Her and Satine Phoenix sort of conceived of this charity when Fenway's 16-year-old friend last year was lost to suicide. It was her gaming partner in crime, and another friend of hers in the same year. She lost 2 friends to teen suicide. And so they've turned this into a positive thing. This is a registered 501(c) charitable organization, and the money is not going to Jasper's Game Day. It's not going to Zig Games. They are partnered with the American Association of Suicidology, and who works with all of the game stores. There are already game stores all over the country that are doing different events. Jason just found out there's one in North Carolina near him that is also doing a game day event. They work with the organizers of those events so that that money that is raised goes into local suicide prevention organizations. That is something the American Association of Suicidology is equipped and prepared to deal with. Also, I just want to make a note of this, and we'll definitely be making this clear during the stream. I am not collecting any money whatsoever. Do not donate to the channel or submit bits in the with the intent of those going to Jasper's Game Day. We will have a link that is set up exclusively for that. So all of that money goes directly into the system that is designed to funnel that money where it needs to go. So there's no question. We'll have more information on that. Be sure to stay tuned. That's coming up May 12th through the 16th. I'm going to go ahead and show that graphic one more time because I also need to get it off of my dice cam screen. But there's the information there. Follow at MTD_Jake. That's me on Twitter for more information. All right. That's all I got for announcements. Which one of you amazing players would like to recap last week's session? Talmud is giving the dwarven signal for I volunteer. I think, if I'm not mistaken, because of the time frame, the time gap, I did the recap last week, and I took a point of inspiration that I have not yet used. So if you want me to take a second point of inspiration, I'll do the recap. Scotty's shaking his head no.
I can remember the first half. I don't remember what transpired after we fought the Gricks. Something about a doorway and statues.
I thought I was the one that was drinking.
All right, you do the first part. I'll do the second part.
All right, so the previous session had ended with the party being completely separated, and some kind of sound. Cantriel was off to one side, Fig was off at the other. Damn Scotty was wandering around while the 2 dwarves were sitting there looking at the crypts. Well, turns out we got ambushed by a bunch of Gricks. Fig fell apart. Her head came rolling down, or his head came rolling down the stairs while the body turned into a cube. we fought the Gricks. There was all kinds of arguments between DM Scotty and basically everybody else about, Fig not having a soul. There were some heated conversations, some people walking away, and we eventually got everybody together, got wounds healed, whether they're emotional or physical or both, and we proceeded in the direction that Cantriel was studying, where there was a sigil on the door that was of Durgadin the Black, who was an ancient dwarven smith. We went into the room, and was it I don't know whether it was like octagonal shaped or whatever, but there was a number of statues. Do you wanna take it from there, Griveth?
Yeah, I'll take it from there. Boy, Griffin's getting a bad name here. Okay, so to clear it up a little bit, and Fig, when you fell apart and turned into a box, I was worried that it would hinder the party. So I said, my argument was, okay, it doesn't have a soul, so I'm not that concerned about it. It can wait here for a while. We'll come back and get it. So that was my plan, was to come back and get you at some point when it was less dangerous. So I wasn't just, well, I guess I did say you didn't have a soul, but I wasn't abandoning you. I was just temporarily. I'm like, it's a toy. It's okay. It's
Keep
fine.
digging, Griveth. Keep digging.
I'm digging my hole deeper, aren't I? I'm not doing very good here. All right. All right. So we fight off these worms, and we get in this room, and there's like these bronze statues, there's like these bronze statues. They're these ancient dwarves. Is that right?
Yes.
With big axes, right? And Talmud does his normal due diligence and runs into the door, and the axes come down and almost eviscerate the poor guy. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Thorgarn. Almost eviscerate Thorgarn. So we, I believe Cantriel found a secret door, right? Is that right, Cantriel? And we found a secret passage out of that place, and we came.
No, I inadvertently had found the door to get into that area. I don't recall the secret door though.
Didn't we find a way out, and we were like ended up?
Yes, it was you, Cantriel. You guys had been hearing the sound.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
You had been hearing the sound of an anvil.
Yes.
Of a hammer pounding rhythmically on an anvil. And you knew it was coming from the east. After Thorgarn was nearly sliced and diced, Cantriel was able to glimpse a gap behind the easternmost statue and find that there was actually a passage leading to some stairs. And so that is where we are now, as the party has just begun to ascend these stairs. And we're going to go ahead and, just to give you guys a little bit of a visual, we'll slip in here. There is the octagonal room. You are coming up those stairs in the middle. And as you get about halfway up those stairs, that's when you hear in Dwarvish, so only Talmud and Thorgarn and anybody else that speaks Dwarvish, Cantriel's raising her hand, understand what's being said.
I think everybody but Fig can understand it.
Oh, is at this point it's everybody but Fig.
I can understand Dwarvish too.
Oh,
oh, did something happen in a level up?
No, I just didn't realize.
All right, everybody can understand. Just it's happening in Dwarvish as you hear. And Fig, this is actually the last memory you have is looking up in the cavern, and you see the Gricks, that those tentacles writhing around the beaks. They were looking down at you, and you see one of them come lunging at you, and then the whole world went topsy-turvy and then went black. For you, no time has passed when suddenly you hear in Dwarvish, "Alert! Alert! Intruders approach! Alert! Alert! Intruders approach!" You find your... Actually, Fig, make me a perception check. Somebody remind me where Fig's head is.
He has it.
Is it in your bag? Okay.
I got a 9.
You have no idea where you are. You have no sensation of your body.
As you do.
Yep. Nothing is responding, and all you can see is darkness, and you can sort of hear this movement of cloth right up against your aural sensors.
Hello? Hello?
Cantriel, you can hear Fig just barely speaking from inside your bag.
I'm stopping and I'm looking in my bag.
Am I within one of those tentacle creatures that attacked me? I hope not. I have not assessed whether mucus is good for my circuits or not.
No, you're in my satchel. But you're you. And she's gonna like lift Fig's head out and like hold it eye to eye level.
Hello, Cantriel.
Hello, Fig. We have a slight little issue. And gonna turn Fig's head to face Talmud.
Hello, Talmud.
Oh, he turns around, and as he does so, you see your body like slam into a door frame. Oh, hello, Fig. Can you see me?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know if your head worked when it was not attached to your body.
Well, clearly it's working if she's speaking to us.
What?
Or he's speaking to us.
Yeah, yes, I can see that now.
Has this ever happened before?
My head being detached from my body.
I point towards the cube.
Yes. The halflings preferred this mode of transportation when they took me from town to town.
Interesting. Does this just randomly happen, or was this a fluke?
It might be a consequence of the water that I was in for several years. I am not sure yet. I haven't done the necessary experiments to figure this out.
Alert! Alert! Intruders approach!
Will you roll my head towards my body, please?
Of course. So Cantriel will go over to Talmud. What's the best way to do this?
Cantriel, as you hold Fig's head, as you kind of hold it near the cube of Fig's body, you feel it sort of pulling in your grasp towards the body. And if you let go of it, it sort of, through magnetics, snaps into, oddly, because of the way Talmud has set the body, it snaps down at so it's parallel to the floor. But as soon as your head snaps into place, Fig, you feel as all of your systems you have full communication with again. So you can sense that you are in this reconfiguration and you now have full control of your body.
I can almost imagine it's like watching somebody put together a Lego set in fast-paced motion.
There's YouTube channels for that.
It's quick. It's the quick build from the Lego Star Wars and all the Lego games. I played a lot of Lego Star Wars on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. Just do, 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 do. And soon Fig is back to his full self.
So when you fully, are back together and on your own 2 feet, I'm gonna come in and give you a hug.
Oh my.
I was worried about you.
Oh. Thank you.
It's good to have you back with us in one whole piece.
Oh yes. I remember that you kind don't fare too well if your heads are not attached to your body.
That's putting it
It's-
mildly, yes.
It's worse than not faring well.
It's basically dead.
Basically, someone like looks at Cantriel
Well, there are spells that bring some back.
without a head.
I didn't say without it. I said, we put them back together.
You
Yeah.
elves are very strange.
It takes powerful magic for something like that to happen. But I agree, Talmud. There's no basic about it. Your head done. You're just done.
So where are we?
Alert! Alert! Intruders approach!
I imagine this must be some kind of old security system because if there was something up there, probably would have come for us already.
Do we hear this, or is this just Fig hearing this?
No, all of us-
You all hear this. In fact, why don't Cantriel, Fig, and Griveth all give me either insight or arcana checks.
Oh, insight. I thought it was gonna be perception. Oh, well, that's good.
21.
22 for me.
I got a 19 Arcana.
You all are able to you are all able to sense that at the door that's at the bottom of these stairs, just above it, is where the sound is coming from, and it's some sort of magical spell that is triggering this, and you would know enough with those, all of you with those rolls, that this is a spell called Magic Mouth, that is periodically calling out a warning to someone. What would you like to do? Did somebody turn their camera off?
I think Ted's maybe having an issue.
I think, yeah, we lost
Oh,
Ted.
I just all of a sudden looked and you guys were nowhere where I thought you were.
We like messing with
Oh, he's back. He's back now. He's Fig.
All right, nobody do anything.
Freeze.
Who all got mixed up? Just the three of you? So that'd be 2, 3, 1. All right, Fig, you go here.
Chairs.
And Thorgarn, you go here. And Cantriel, you go here. Okay, now what would you guys like to do?
Hey, Fig in the box, can you shut that thing up?
Can I tell, or can Fig tell where it's coming from?
Yeah, you all can determine that it's coming from above the door that's at the bottom of these stairs.
Can I see?
Sorry, top of the stairs. This set of stairs goes up.
Can Fig see the top of the stairs right now? Where?
Can you see in the dark?
That is a good question. No.
Which would mean Griveth is also having difficulty seeing. Because this is
I'll put it
actually
down with glowing fungus.
this is actually the first time. Yeah, did you bring the glowing fungus with you?
Oh yeah, it's like all over me. I've like got
That's
it all,
right.
like,
I remember that now. You are
every
correct.
fold.
So yes, Fig. You can see Griveth is oddly glowing. I forgot that he took a bunch of the glowing lichens and covered his armor with it.
So from the glowing lichens, I'm able to see whatever is making the noise.
It literally looks like a piece of the stone. In fact, it looks almost like the keystone in the doorway, which is carved in a dwarven likeness. It looks like the mouth of the dwarf is speaking.
Fig wants to cast Firebolt on it.
Okay.
It's an
Whoa
effective-
there!
Fig takes personal offense to anything else that's animated.
So that is going to be, of course, I'd get a nat 20 on the anatomy. Oh.
You just critically hit the keystone on the doorway. Okay.
Oh.
Well, fortunately, what is the damage from your firebolt? What's max damage? I think it's 1d10, isn't it?
I don't know why it says 2d10 on here.
You're level 5. Does it go up?
Yes, it does. Yep.
So 2d10, so that's 20, plus roll the 2d10 again.
Plus 13.
So 33 points of damage as you see this whole section glows for a moment. Chips of stone blast everywhere. The keystone is now almost completely defaced. A moment later, from the keystone, you hear,
I'm sorry I could not make it shut up, but I did my best.
Fig in the box. I meant, do you have something that can turn magic off, not blow it up?
That doorway was probably 1,000 years old.
It gives
Where
it
does that not
character,
specify?
No, it got rid of the character.
which got rid of the shouting, which
Here, I'll finish the job. And I pull out Bradford's honor to smack the rest of this thing.
no, that won't be necessary, Griveth. We're fine.
We might as well finish the job.
well, Fig only defaced the keystone. There's still a stone door in front of you.
But we're trying to shut this thing up, right?
I don't know what you're trying to do.
I mean, the rest of us. What? We're trying to shut it up, right?
It sounds like you're alone in this endeavor, Griffith.
Okay, I'm just going to do it then. I'm just going to try to smack this thing off.
All right. Well, with Bradford's honor,
Auto crit.
any hit against an object is a crit. So let's see what kind of damage you do. I'm not going to make you roll to hit since you're walking up to it and striking it with a sword.
Right. So that's max damage, right? So that'd be
it's max damage, then roll your damage die one more time. It's max damage plus modifiers, then roll your damage die one more time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. 28 points of damage.
As you're swinging it, you hear again, and then you strike it. As the stone splits, Sir Bradford's honor becomes momentarily embedded in the split stone. A quick twist, and you're able to pull Sir Bradford's honor free. You have silenced this yelling stone.
All right, that's how you do it.
All right, now what would you like to do?
Congratulations.
Sword.
He like pats Griveth on the back. Congratulations. If there's any furniture in the next room that's really scary, we'll let you at them. He kind of moves past him towards the door to go check it.
Cantriel's gonna mutter in Celestial, one for the dwarf.
So, what are you doing to the door, Talmud?
I'm Talmuding the door, walking up to it and opening it, if I can.
All right. In that case, I'm going to need you to do nothing.
All the saving throws.
Yep. You actually, the stone door pushes open quite easily since the keystone has relieved just a little bit of pressure that was against the door. You open up the door, and what you see is a very large hall. This hall is about 80 feet across and more than 100 feet long. This enormous hall is lined with 10 great pillars carved into the forms of giants and dragons that support the vaulted ceiling 30 feet above. Guttering orange torches set in sconces along the walls illuminate the room, and a mighty throne sits on a dais at the opposite end. The walls were once covered with tile mosaics, but they have been smashed and defiled by graffiti. Tiny fragments of tile litter the floor. You can see 5 other exits. A small fire smolders on the floor before the dais, where 6 sleeping pallets lie empty, surrounded by packs and supplies. The sound of hammers ringing on iron comes from beyond the doors to the south. Suddenly, a harsh voice calls out from the shadows of the pillars.
Go back the way you came! This is the only warning you'll get!
What would you like to do? Oh,
Was
and
this
that
in
voice is in Dwarvish.
Okay.
I'll add, it's in Dwarvish, in true Dwarvish, with a proper Dwarvish accent.
What, orcs are speaking Dwarvish now? What?
So somebody was calling out to what sounds like us. Like there's not much in mistaking that, right?
It seems pretty clear that is
Yeah.
the case, yes.
So Talmud will kind of walk out towards the center of these pillars, kind of in the middle of the room towards the sleeping pallets. There's only one what, friend?
Can we hear where the sound is coming from?
You can make a perception check.
I can try. I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, you can certainly try.
All right, so I'm going to say with a 4, no.
They're coming from this room, or it is coming from this room.
Well, I'm going to stride confidently into the room trying to figure out who spoke, because if I think it's a dwarf, then by all means, I'm a dwarf. There should be no problems with me being here.
A spear comes flying out of the darkness, embedding in the stone 3 feet in front of where you walk, Thorgarn.
That is not the way from which you came! Go back!
Are you daft? I'm a dwarf, as I say in Dwarven.
You get no response. Make me a... I'm going to have Talmud make this check as well. I would like you to make a history check.
Oh, are you kidding me?
But you're going to do so with advantage.
All right, it's a 14.
I got a 19.
Talmud, or rather Thorgarn, there's something a little off about this accent
Okay.
that you can't quite place it. Talmud, you recognize this as not being one of the mountain clans or any of the mining clans in the region, much less a hill or mountain dwarf accent. This is the accent of your less than reputable cousins, distant cousins, known as the Durgar or the Grey Elves.
Grey dwarves?
Or Grey Dwarves, yeah, not Grey Elves.
Depends on who you're asking, really.
Sorry, I got elf pudding on the brain.
Talmud will kind of stop where he's at and look to Thorgarn and try to catch his attention. And he kind of, Dwargar.
Do I hear this, Jake?
If you heard him, you hear it.
Okay. So then I will switch to Undercommon and say, what are you doing here and why are you attacking us?
Just because you speak in our language doesn't make you a friend.
I did not say I was your friend. I'm asking questions.
I hear you talking, but your voice isn't growing further away, which means you're not going back the way you came.
And I have no intention to do so. So we could have words, or you can keep throwing spears and my friends and I can charge.
At this point, I would like you to make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. You would like to pick those skills that I'm not actually proficient in. That's a 17, though.
I'm not talking to you.
And you actually hear muffled. You can't quite make out the voices, but from the shadows, you hear another voice. This one, female. A figure steps out from the shadows. A Durgar female. She is wearing studded leather armor. And as she steps into this area, you can see that one second. You can see that she wears a sword at her belt. And that she also has in her hand a small crossbow.
Is it loaded? Is it loaded and pointed at us? Or is it just kind of down to the side?
It's down and to the side.
I don't know who you are, but you're making a lot of noise. And you're coming in here, blasting your way through an entrance that no one's been through in a very long time.
Well, the name is Thorgarn, and we're here to kill orcs.
Interesting.
Remind me, who here speaks Orcish? Or did anybody speak Orcish?
If anybody, it's Talmud.
Okay. I couldn't remember if one of you spoke Orcish.
I have Goblin, not Orcish.
Okay, never mind that.
Sorry, I speak Orc.
Oh, okay. We do have somebody.
So you are the one that Well, well, Thorgarn is talking with this person. You can kind of see where on the walls where all this mosaic tile has been broken away and lies in fragments, that the graffiti that has been etched into the walls, sometimes it looks like it's been carved into the stone with a blade. In other places, it looks to be smeared on with something you can use your imagination. But in every case, it's in Orcish, and it is all pretty much insulting the dwarves and their ancestry. Crude acts, some of which seem impossible, though seem to be illustrated by even cruder drawings, adorn these walls.
So, I know you to be called Thorgarn now. What of these others?
Well, would you mind if we spoke in dwarf or common so that they might be able to introduce themselves? Not all of us know this language. Or I could, translate however you desire.
I will not foul my tongue with the common speech.
Then so be it. So I'll turn back to my companions. They wish you all to introduce yourselves, and apparently they only wish to speak in their tongue. So I can translate if you also desire.
Is their tongue undercommon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know what they're saying.
As long as you don't translate that like you did that one time with that one girl who spoke that language of the priests that you speak.
Yes.
Yes, I found out what you told her.
Well, she really wasn't interested in you in the first place, so.
Well, I wonder why.
That better be a story for later.
No. That's fine.
Maybe.
You can translate. Fine.
All right. So does anybody reject? Anybody have issues here?
No, go ahead, tell them.
All right. So I introduce, each of my companions to them. So might I have your name now that we've given you all of ours?
I am Garrett.
Is that Guard or Garrett?
Garrett.
Garrid?
Not carrot, right?
Do they look surprised that, there's 5 heavily armed
You only see the one female.
people coming in? Or does that female look pretty surprised that there's 5 heavily armed people invading basically their place?
She doesn't appear surprised, nor does she seem worried.
So do you have a problem if we continue on and kill those foul orcs, or
I would like to know why 2 dwarves, a machine, a human, and an elf have come into Dargaden's foundry.
well, the orcs came into our town and killed a whole mess of our people. So now we're going to go to where the orcs are and kill a whole mess of their people.
Make a persuasion check.
Sure. Persuasion. So that's a 15.
Do you see any orcs here?
Well, not in this room, but there's more rooms to look at.
You came from the Glitterheim if you came from that way. Did you see any orcs there?
We've killed one so far.
Did you see any orcs in the Glitterheim?
Is that the underpassage?
That's
that we've
the
gone
place
through?
the place that you came from.
No, we haven't seen any down there.
You say
We
you are
think- we
here.
think
You
they're-
say you are here to kill orcs.
Aye.
Yet you have not seen orcs in the
think-
Glitterheim, and you
we
have
think they're
not seen
higher up.
the orcs. Are not here. They are at the mountain door. So why are you in the foundry?
Isn't that further up? Like I said, you don't go to the front door and say, "Hi, we're gonna come kill you all." That's suicide.
You don't go through the basement either,
Why not?
because it doesn't go up that way.
Okay, is there a better way?
Go back the way you came.
I don't know what's being said, but I'm just getting angrier by the minute. I'm like, do you trust these demon worshipping, slave taking scum?
I think they probably understand you, and that was not the nicest of things to say, Gareth.
You should put a leash on your dog. He seems a bit rabid.
I don't like the look on his face. I
That's
don't know
a-
what he said, but I don't like it.
It's a woman.
First of all, I believe that's a,
Attack!
She's got a beard, but that doesn't make her a
I'm
girl.
running at them with my sword drawn.
Oh God.
can Cantriel trip him on the way?
Well, since Griveth has initiated combat, we're going to roll for initiative. And then you can certainly try on your initiative. Oh, boy. All right. Okay.
Pig-headed.
So, I need to look at my stats here. I lost my mouse. There it is. Or my cursor.
Ooh, jeez.
Let's see. That is cocked. Let's try again. I liked it better the last time. Then nice. So that's what I have for deck. And okay, Griveth. What'd you get?
11.
Cantriel.
21.
Fig.
12.
Thorgarn.
21. Shockingly.
Talmud.
17.
All right. So Thorgarn and Cantriel are both going to go simultaneously, followed by Talmud, and then Fig is going to go, and so is somebody else. And then Griveth is going to go, as is somebody else. And then that leaves another somebody else. Okay, Thorgarn and Cantriel. Griveth has just screamed attack and is just beginning to charge. He's taken a couple steps, sword drawn, charging toward Garid.
Garrett. So I imagine Cantriel has the higher dex, so I always relinquish to that rule. So I give it to you, V.
Cantriel's actually, she is going to try and stop Griveth from being the bull in the china shop and try and like grab him or trip him or something to keep him from doing something that's going to make things very messy.
Okay, if you attempt to trip him, I'm going to do a contested dexterity check. If you attempt to grab him, I'm going to do a contested strength check.
She's a tripper. We'll do trip.
So I have grapple. Will that help me at all to avoid?
No, this is she's not attempting to grapple you. She's attempting to trip you up. So
Gotcha.
it is going to be a contested dexterity contest or a dexterity contest.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
So what do you
I
got?
got a 6.
And what'd you get, Cantriel?
22.
So Griveth, as you take about 2 or 3 steps, you just suddenly go sprawling, and you are now prone, face down, with a clatter of armor. You maintain your grip on your shield and your sword, but you will start your turn in the prone position.
And Cantriel sits down on top of him.
That is perfectly fine. So there will be a little bit of a contested strength check to get up on your turn, Griveth. So Talmud, Thorgarn, what are you doing?
So at the humans, at Griveth's charge and Cantriel's reaction, what is the Dorgar doing? What is Garid?
She has raised her hand crossbow and looks like she might be getting ready to fire. She has it trained on Griveth.
All right, so I'm gonna. Can I position myself in between the two and kind of like put my hands out like whoa, let's get back to talking, please.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Well, that natural 20 would have been nice. It's a 15 though.
Just a reminder, you have 37 domain dice.
I'm not going to roll better than a 14. It's not worth the risk.
As you kind of step in between and raise your hands, all she does is slightly alter her aim, so it's now aiming at you.
That's cool. I'll take one for the team if need be.
All right. Big. Nope. Talmud.
Talmud produces Gerta, and he looks over at Griveth and Cantriel. Not now, you two. And he turns and run past them, bringing Gerta up and down. I think the first strike he would... Yeah, I mean, there's not mechanics for it, but he'd essentially be trying to going for her crossbow.
All right, I guess we're gonna fight after all.
I'm a barbarian. That's what I do.
Okay. So, make your attack.
15.
That is a success.
Wunderbar. Okay. That is 7 and 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And then the second hammer strike is going for her. 15.
Also a hit.
That will be 7 points of damage that time.
She adjusts her aim. You strike at her arm with the crossbow, and she takes the brunt of that on her crossbow hand as she sort of shifts her arm. She takes the damage, but she does maintain her grip on the hand crossbow. But you've dealt a couple of solid blows to her. As a Duragar, she's just slightly smaller than you are. So that's your 2 attacks. Anything else?
So that means she's still taller than me, though, right?
Probably.
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. So that's going to be Fig.
Oh. We have stopped negotiation now? Curious. And Fig is going to raise his hand directly into the air. And you see a kind of like this blackish glow. ever so slightly begin for the palm of his hand. And something dark, like this dark glob, comes shooting out of his hand. And he's going to cast Grease. And he wants to be able to aim it to hopefully get, because there's only 2 of them, right?
You can only see one. You've only ever seen the one.
Wasn't there the guy and the girl?
There's a guy that you have never seen. You've only heard his voice from the shadows.
Oh.
And then she stepped out of the shadows.
I see. Okay, well, he wants to get her then.
Okay, done easily enough. So she needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
And I think that also means Talmud would...
Depending on how you placed it, yes.
Would it be possible for me to place it where only she is and not get him?
Yeah, so you can target her and then sort of behind her.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
So that's going to be... Go. Oh, there we go. Lost my stat block. Let's see. Dexterity. Okay, so that is going to be an 8. As suddenly it's almost comical in front of you, Talmud, as she's recovering from your strikes against her. She sort of does that whoop 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 whoop, and seems to hold herself, and then just goes, and her feet just kick out from under her, and she lands with a oof in front of you. Anything else, Fig? All right. Right about this same time, right about this same time, from both sides of this chamber, javelins come flying. And at this point, one is coming towards Fig, one is coming towards Talmud, and Griveth and Cantriel are sort of in the same area, so you're going to be targeted as well. So Fig, javelin comes at you. Let's see, that is going to be a...
I'm prone, so it should have disadvantage.
Correct. 16 to hit you, Fig. So you will take 9 points of piercing damage as this javelin just comes flying out of the shadows and slams into you. Then we're going to do Talmud. Talmud, the javelin comes, I imagine a 9 misses you, of course. Just comes sailing past you and clatters off of the stone pillar nearby. From the opposite side, a javelin comes flying in with a 17 to hit Cantriel. Cantriel, you will take also 9 points of piercing damage, as where you're sort of, because of Griveth's armor, you're almost in a crouch, the way you're kind of sitting on him and putting the pressure. And this javelin comes in and just right into your leg. Your upper leg.
It? Can I try to deflect it?
Not from a prone position with her sitting on you.
Okay.
At disadvantage. Oh, Scotty. I rolled a crit, but then I rolled a 9. So, as you're trying to twist in this awkward position and with Cantriel on top of you, just as you sort of shift your head to shift your weight, right where your head was a moment before, right in front of your face, this javelin stabs into the stone. So it is now... Oh, look at that. It is Griveth's turn. And at the same time, it is Guard's turn. Griveth, in order to stand up, I need you to make a contested strength check if Cantriel is going to continue to hold you down. Cantriel is not going to hold you down. She seems to be more concerned with the javelin sticking in her thigh. So, Griveth, it'll cost you half your movement to get to your feet with a clatter of slightly glowing armor. Though it is, the lichen is diffused in the orange glow from all of the torches and the fire burning in here. You are on your feet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You are on your feet.
Can I see where the javelins are coming from? Or are they like just coming from holes in the wall, or are there people over there?
Well, Quinian has just dropped 500 bits cheer into the chat for the awkward situations. So thank you, Quinian, as that brings us up to 38 domain dice. Real quick, I need to determine what I need from you, Griveth, as you jump to your feet and you look around, is I need a perception check. Or you could use investigation if you wish.
That'd be a 12.
As you look, choose left or right.
The javelin that came for Cantriel.
So
Whatever side.
That would be to the right. As
Okay.
you look over to the right, you see movement as a figure. You actually see two figures duck behind stone pillars.
Okay.
So
I say take.
just for reference, you guys are all kind of in this very middle section. So more or less dead center between the second and third pillars in the middle of the room. Garid is just in front of where these sleeping pallets are, in front of the fire, which is in front of the dais. So to the south, on the bottom side, behind that second and the third pillar from the left, is where you saw the two figures duck behind. And I just suddenly realized you are all in the wrong place on this screen too. I'm not going to worry about that.
Okay, everybody take cover. So trying to motion them to use the pillars as cover as we advance. So I look at Cantriel and I say, I know you care about me, but you don't have to try to stop me from rushing into combat. I'll be fine, really.
Go. Clearly, just go at this point.
I didn't know how you felt about me, but now I do.
No,
Now
you don't.
It's totally crystal clear to me. You sat on me. You didn't want me to go into combat.
No, I didn't want you to start combat.
I know this is the time to
There's
discuss
a-
it. I'm sorry. We'll
You're gonna argue with me when I have a javelin stuck in my thigh.
we'll talk about it later.
I
My
can't
love.
wait. Oh dear God.
Okay, so is there anybody that Griveth can get to?
So you can just make it to the pillars, but not quite around to the backside. Well, wait, what's your movement speed?
30, but I used
It took you 15 to get up. So we're looking at, you can't quite make it around to the backside. You can only get to the front side of the pillars.
Okay, can I get to the crossbow woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
She is lying prone. Wait, what did,
So
what
Griveth
did she
quickly
do?
blows a kiss at Cantriel, dashes to the side.
Oh, okay. So
Do I got to roll to hit?
no, well, yes, if you're charging her, but here's what's happening at the same, because this is simultaneous, because she also goes in the same order in the initiative. as you get up and you sort of have this exchange with Cantriel, you see these figures. No, I can't make it there. And you look at where Garrod is just starting to rise from the floor. And I believe, actually, I got to check this real quick because I think there's another check. A creature that enters the area or ends its turn there must... Okay, at the end of its turn, she has to make a saving throw again for the grease. Okay, so as you're charging her, Griveth, you watch as Garrod rises to her feet, but as she steps up, climbing to her feet, she seems to be rising from this crouch, and as she does so, she is now towering over Thorgarn and Talmud, as she has just increased her size. I'm going to let you attack first. Actually, that was her action to do that, so... yeah.
Oh God, what are these dwarves? They're not dwarves anymore. Okay, so as I race up to the side of Talmud, I give him this glance of, let's do this, and bring down Bradford's honor. Well, up on this thing. That's a 16 first attack.
That's gonna hit.
Nice. That's 11 points of damage.
All right.
Second attack. Oh yeah, that's a hit. That's a 22.
Yep.
That's 13 points of damage.
All right.
Okay, that's it.
All right, let's see. All right, so she has used her action to increase her size. She is now going to...
Does she slip again?
She is going to... Yeah, she's going to hold her ground. And she's going to make a dexterity saving throw, and it is a... Natural 20. So she's still on her feet. Just for your information, Jeremy, since you noticed the 1 at the beginning of the stream on that, that's the die that I was rolling for a while, was the 1. And then I stopped. All right, so she is still standing on her feet. It is back to the top of the order. It's Cantriel and Thorgarn that now have a go.
All right. Well, obviously, since we're in the midst of it all, I will have Cantriel. Are the two guys still undercover, so to speak? The ones who threw the spear in that direction?
You have no idea where they are.
I have no idea. So all I'm seeing is
you can make a perception or investigation check. It's not an action to do so.
Okay.
Just if you want to try to figure out
a quick perception and see if I can figure that out. And that is a 22.
To the north or to the south? Which way are you looking?
To the north.
So you look up to the north, and you can just also make out between that second and that third pillar on the north side. You can actually see, in particular, on the third one, there's a Duergar standing there, and he's got his back pressed up against the pillar, and he thinks he's out of view, but you can just see him pressed up against that pillar.
Is he undercover or anything like that, or can I
Nope,
still...
you have clear line of sight to him. He's literally pressed against the
Perfect.
pillar, thinking he's out of your sight.
I'm gonna longbow that sucker. All right, let's see here. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 will hit.
Okay, and then that's going to be oh, come on. 4 points damage.
Okay. Let's see what they've got. So as you hit, you see your arrow strike him. He just sort of looks down at the arrow and then back at you in surprise that he's still in range or visible by you. You just doing the one attack?
What was that?
You just doing the one attack?
Can I move behind one of the pillars in the opposite direction? Or is that too far?
Well, you do not. I mean, you have your full movement, which is.
Right.
What's your full movement?
That is. Where'd that go? 30.
30. All right. So you're in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me north or south and numbering from left to right which pillar you want to go for.
I'll probably go. Is this oriented the way like we'd be looking at it? So south. South behind the middle pillar. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. I keep pointing thinking you can see. But,
No.
Okay. So, you come running around to the south. And what are you doing? Are you trying to take cover behind it?
Yeah, trying to get some cover so I can still use my longbow, like see, but then duck behind.
Excellent. You come running up to this pillar and you press your back into it and you sense and sort of feel that you bump up against something and you look and there is a Durgar standing with his back pressed against the same pillar and you are now standing right next to him.
Great minds think alike.
And you used all of your movement to get to that point.
Yep.
So, all right.
Oh, sure. She rolls the 8.
So that's the Cantriel side of that initiative. What's Thorgarn doing?
So, seeing all this unfold, it's like, well, that conversation's gone to shite. Pull out my weapons, charge Goddard, and first attack with the Warhammer is over a 20. That's a 26.
Yep, that's a hit.
And that is going to do 6 points of damage. My next 2 attacks are pathetic, so I use two domain dice and still miss. Because I am
Wow.
guessing a 12 misses.
A 12 does miss. Burning through
We got
Quinian's.
We got 38 of them.
Burning
but
through
apparently-
Quinian's recently donated domain die and another one.
But apparently I rolled 4 dice and nothing was above a 6.
All right. So, yeah, as you come in and you hit her with that first hit, in her larger form, she just sort of, she takes that first hit and kind of grunts as it strikes her, but then she just easily shifts out of the way. She's not dodging it, but she's shifting so that her armor is taking the brunt of these attacks. Talmud, you now have a much larger gray dwarf standing in front of you.
I am in a target-rich environment. He is going to bring Gerta around and just connect, if he can, with
Kneecap.
Yeah, her leg somewhere, probably the side of the kneecap. That's not bad. That's a dirty 20. We were just talking about that.
Yep.
Okay, and then the second one, 22.
Okay, so those both hit.
Okay. The first one is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning. The second is 14 points of bludgeoning.
You swing Gerta around, aiming for her knee. You hear this depending on your perspective, either sickening or satisfying snapping sound as her knee shatters. So does her femur. As you strike it so hard, you see the bone splinter and pressing against the material of her pants. She comes down, falling backwards again, aided by the grease, and she falls backwards into the fire pit that was this sort of makeshift campfire. And because of her enlarged size, as she falls into this, her head smacks the bottom step of the dais with a wet thud, and you watch as a pool of blood begins to form from the base of her skull as her body slowly begins to reduce back to its normal size, but she otherwise is unmoving. Gutted is dead.
Yeah, after felling her, Talmud will round on whichever is the next closest and make his way that direction. He's got 35 feet.
Talmud, you have not seen any of the other Duergar.
Okay, so their interactions with everybody else has not been apparent.
You've only seen, well, you've had your back turned. You know that there's at least one other one here.
Okay.
But when you were engaged with Guarded, your back was to the room, so you wouldn't have seen where any of the javelins came from. You can
Makes sense.
You can turn around and make a perception check at disadvantage.
No, he's actually just going to go to the place where Gerd came out from. So, like, he heard them talking, and then she stepped out from there. He's going to head that direction.
So, and your movement is 25?
35.
35? So, she actually came out from this number 3 pillar to the north.
North. Okay, so then that's where he's headed.
Are you going to behind it, or?
Yeah, he's going to assume that if he can't see someone, that they're hiding behind it. So he's going to basically kind of move and try to start making his way around the backside of it.
Okay, so as you cross over to the backside, you actually see, looking at the map on that number 3 north pillar, you come in on the right side of it. And as you peer around, you see a gray dwarf standing there with an arrow sticking in that he's trying to pull out, and he's actually inching towards you and sort of just lightly bumps into you, turns and looks and goes, "Oh." And that'll be the end of your turn. Fig.
Fig just kind of stops and is looking around. Is that everyone? Are we done? And he's going to look around.
Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. 15.
You know that there is, hiding behind the pillars both to the north and the south, there are more enemies. But you don't exactly know where. You just know that there are other targets in this environment.
Okay, so Fig is going to go towards the north side then.
All right, towards which pillar? You're kind of in between, in the middle of the room, in between the 2 and 3 pillars.
The 2. The second.
All right. So as you walk to that side of the room, you see another Duergar. This one is much larger and actually looks like the previous one.
Oh.
looks like Garad, where they were doubled in size. But it's kind of looks like it's not so much hiding as it's preparing to make an attack.
Hello. Are you also willing to go through negotiations before we fight?
Do you speak Dwarvish?
Yes.
It says to you in Dwarvish, it describes a very particular act that it would like you to do to yourself in Dwarvish. It is not nice.
I'm not sure if I can bend in that direction, but I will certainly look into it after. And, but I suppose you have made your decision, and if you'll still allow an action, if not, then that's totally fine.
All you've done is move, so yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Fig is going to reach out with his hand directly at the Dragar's face and just magic missile it.
All right.
At 2nd level.
So 4 missiles, and you can go ahead and tell us what Fig's magic missiles look like, as all 4 of these are obviously going to hit.
So I imagine Fig just kind of puts the palm of his hand directly in this Durgar's face, and you just see these lights come out, and they're this brilliant blue. They're the same blue as Fig's blood, that's the fluid that is pumping through him, and they kind of coalesce for a moment in a circle. Not coalesce, but they kind of come together in a circle for an instant before they just converge on the Sturgar's face. And that's 2, 4. It's going to be 14 points of damage.
All right. His response is to just use about 3 or 4 times one of the words in Dwarvish that he used to describe what he wanted you to do to yourself. And it is his turn, as it's at the same time you go, the Durgar go. So, I really wish I had tokens on this map, but I think I remember where everybody is. So, the one you just shot in the face with magic missile is going to raise his war pick and try to strike you with it. That is going to be a 7 to hit. Blinded by the magic missiles in the face, the war pick sails over your head and takes a chunk of stone out of the pillar next to your head. Talmud, the one standing in front of you, is also going to attempt to strike with a war pick, as he sort of quickly, just suddenly looking over and seeing you and going, oh, he quickly reaches to his side, and he sort of does this underhanded sort of an uppercut with it. And that is the same. All right, you're done. That's the same 3 on the die. So he swings it and just completely whiffs past you.
It's just balancing the 2s and 3s that I was rolling, so it's all good.
I'm grabbing my other 2 d20s that are sitting here that I haven't rolled yet. Let's see. So that was Talmud, Cantriel. Griveth, where did you go? You went down. You went south.
I thought he was fighting Garrett.
Oh yeah. I thought he moved after he took him out. Maybe I'm wrong. You took out Garrett. No, Talmud
took out Garrett. So Griveth and myself are still right where she was.
You two stayed in the middle. Who went south? Cantriel. Cantriel went south and ran into one of these Durgar. This one is also, or no, this one was not yet enlarged, but is also going to take a strike at you with with his. Are you freaking kidding me? That is the third 3 in a row that I've rolled. And with a completely different die. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys have completely put these Durgar out, like all at once. You
could call for their surrender.
Just all at once, you hear the sounds of picks hitting stone as they're missing. Cantriel, you do notice that behind the number 2 pillar to the south is a 4th Durgar, and this one looks over at you, and as it does so, it just brings its hands to its lips and goes, shh, and then it goes, and it enlarges. It is... She's down. Griveth, it is your go. You definitely know that there is action happening both to the north and the south behind the pillars.
Okay, I knew these dwarves could take care of themselves. I look over, I see Fig in the Box has blinded this guy temporarily. But what I'm truly worried about is Cantriel. So I'm hyper aware, like what is going on with Cantriel. So I kind of see she's having some issues over there. So I'm going to, whether she needs it or not, I'm going to run over there and help her. I can make it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So she's got one next to her that she put an arrow in, right?
Nope. That's the one.
Nope?
That was the one to the north. She's just standing next to one that tried to hit her with a pickaxe.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I see this and I'm just enraged. Like, how dare he? So I'm like, so I'm just like, so he's just coming full tilt. And Sir Bradford's Honor's ready to come down. He's not large, is he?
No, that one is not.
Okay. So Sir Bradford's Honor is ready to lay out the law. And I'm going to attack. 18.
That will hit.
Nice. That is 10 points of damage.
Okay, let me double check the... Okay. Let's see. That was this one. Okay. 10 points against him. Got it.
All right. Again. Oh, that is 26. I think that hits. All right. Oh, crap. That's only 7 points of damage.
It's only 7 points of damage, but you do see that it is beginning to bleed profusely. It does have... Oh wait, what was the to hit on those?
The second one was, I think the first one was like 17, and the second one was like 26.
Okay. But yeah, you do manage to break through. Sorry, I should have clarified that these other Durgar are wearing scale mail and have shields.
Oh, okay. Oh, shoot.
It was the
Yay.
it was what's her name? Gutted that had the leather armor. Studded leather armor. But you still managed to hit him and do some pretty good damage to him. So,
demon worshipping scum.
Back to the top of the order, Cantriel and Thorgarn. Griveth has just rushed in next to you, Cantriel, and struck at this one that's in front of you. What would you like to do?
It's still up, right?
Yes, he's still up.
Okay, then I'll probably use my rapier and stab it, since it's right on up there. And that's going to be, that's probably going to miss 12.
You draw your rapier, and your rapier actually bends significantly as you strike a metal plate in this scale mail, and just sort of no effect.
And then I'm going to smack Griveth upside the head, and in doing so, give him some bardic inspiration, but saying, I said nothing about being your love, you nimwit. And then she'll point to the bigger one.
That's not what your touch is telling me.
Oh boy. So what's your bardic inspiration die right now?
It's a D6.
I'm so inspired.
Oh Lord.
What did I ever do with the hot brimstone?
I don't know. I'm not going to help you find it.
I don't know, but there's 5 face palms from other Jeremy.
I saw. That was good.
I love it. Okay, so Griveth, you do have a D6 bardic inspiration. So that's a bonus action to cast bardic. Oh, and you attacked. That's right. Cantriel, or no, Thorgarn. You also are happening at the same moment.
So with Gouted, being down, I hear fighting behind me. I hear or I saw Talmud, go around, the mess that's in front of us, the fire and the bedding. If I quick look back, do I see the fight that Cantriel and Griveth are doing, and Fig being with the other one?
I would say at this point, because of everything that's happening, you now have full awareness of the 3, the 2 to the north and the 1 to the south.
Okay, so I will rush to help out Fig.
All right, so that's going to be behind the number 2 pillar to the north.
All right. So I have a 17, a 26, and a 14.
The 17 and the 26 will hit.
That is. Do you want them individually or just all together?
No, go ahead and give it. Yeah.
All right, so
I hesitated because I'll just say it.
13%.
Give it all to me, Ted. So what was the total?
13.
All right. You see, even though this thing is much larger, as you're kind of battering it and drawing blood and raising welts on it, it is not very happy. But standing right next to you and it is Fig. Big Thorgarn's just rushed in and bashed this one that you magic missiled in the face. What would you like to do? It's still standing.
Isn't it Talmud?
That is correct. I keep skipping over Talmud. Talmud, you have a dead Duergar. With her reduced size, she's actually mostly in the fire and has already caught fire. And
I had moved around the pillar to the north.
Oh, that's right. You went to the north.
The dude bumped into me and then swung.
That's right. So you did all of that with Gared, and you remember that fondly for a moment before you remember that you are standing right next to a regular sized Duergar that did just try to hit you in the head, but missed. He tried to uppercut you.
I am going to rear back with Gerta and try to show him how it's done. With a 23 on the first one.
That is a hit.
That's good. That one's only a 12.
The first one hits. The second one, he brings his shield up, and Gerta clangs off of that.
All right. As far as damage from the first, that's going to be 12 points of bludgeoning.
Another good solid hit against this one. A little ways away from you, Fig, you hear the effort as the minimal effort, but at the effort as Talmud swings Gerta around, and then you hear this almost like a gong, ding, as it strikes the shield, and you are standing in front of this enlarged Durgar.
Fig looks back for a moment at where the sound is coming from. I think there is also something going on over there. Perhaps we should all come together. And Fig is going to... You see, he begins to rub his hands together until... And almost like faster and faster until you can almost see the metal around his fingers get red hot. And then he takes a little bit of this liquid from his wrist almost and drops it onto his hands, and you see this steam come up. And he almost like puffs this steam in the or smoke that has this bluish hue in the face of this Durgar, and he's going to try and cast Hold Person on this Durgar. So he has to make a Wisdom saving throw.
All right. Quick shout out to Star19, who just dropped for the second month in a row, dropped a subscription, gaining you guys one more domain die. I'm not rolling that dice again. I'm not falling for that. You said this was a Wisdom saving throw?
Yes.
Let's see. They have double proficiency. No, just kidding.
Very well.
That is a 18 on the die with no modifier.
I'm going to make you reroll that.
Wonderful. That is going to cost you guys the 2 domain dice as I re-roll that and get a 12 on the new roll.
Yes. My spell save is a 16.
Right.
So yeah. Paralyzed.
The Durgar just, I imagine it's almost like I see it in my mind just like good Lord. I can't even think of any of the words I'm trying to use. Harry Potter when they cast Petrificus on Neville Longbottom in the first one. That all of a sudden this Durgar just this very large Durgar just sort of locks up, and all you can see is his eyes going back and forth. Does he get any additional saves on his own turn?
Only at the end.
Okay. It is the end of his turn. Since he can't do anything. Because the Durgar, I'll go on your same turn. So, oh, geez, that's a 5. So, you see him for a moment as his eyes look back and forth, and then they get this really intense sort of looking back and forth. He does not manage to break free. Talmud, you are... All right, I know this is a dumb superstition, but I am going to mix up these 4 dice that have been rolling like crap. Thank you, Quinian, for another... I love it when you guys do this, when I reset the dice to account for the lower number, and I think I should probably hold off on this. And then somebody comes in and drops another dice, so I have to reset it again. Except apparently I've just taken all of the dice away from you. All right, hold on a second.
Do you want a riot? Because that's how you get a riot.
What? For some reason, none of the dice are now showing. Oh, I know why. I turned the whole domain dice interface off. You guys are at 36 now. Okay. I've now mixed up my dice. All of the juju, the bad juju, is out of them. It is now going to attack at Talmud. That is a 13 on the die. As it swings its pickaxe around, that is a total of 17 to hit Talmud.
Yes, a 17 will do it.
All right, it swings its pickaxe into you. This is a normal-sized Duergar, or I'll say average-sized Duergar. So it is going to deal, as it sinks this pickaxe into you, this war pick. That's 10 points of piercing damage as it finally finds purchase. That's sneaky. That's sneaky, Megan. Megan just realized her Twitch Prime subscription was ready, and there is a precedence for this, because it is a subscription. You do get another domain die. Sneaky. So Talmud, you just took 10 points of piercing damage from this particular Duergar. Griveth, you are currently, you and Cantriel are engaged with this one down south. He is going to swing his pickaxe at you, and that is going to be a 16 to hit you. Does that hit?
Nope.
As it sort of, as under the barrage of attacks, it's almost like he spins it and the flat of it strikes against your armor, having no effect on you. So, then let's see. That one's held, so he can't do anything. All right. You hear behind you, Cantriel. And you already were kind of aware of it because you had pointed at it, and Griveth seemed to ignore you, as the other one, which had enlarged itself, as it looked at you and went, shh, doosh, 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 as he comes charging at you with his now enlarged war pick raised above his head. He brings it down on you for a 14 to hit. He comes in and he seems to misjudge his own size as he brings it back and hits against that wall to the south.
I'm going to use Sentinel and hit him.
Do they just have to make an attack, or do they have to hit?
Just an attack.
Okay. You're engaged with a different one. In order to attack this one with
But it's
Sentinel.
still within 5 feet, right?
Let's see here.
Facing really doesn't matter.
You know what? I'll allow it.
Thanks, man. I may not have hit anyway. Okay. Well, maybe I did. So I got 17.
That hits.
Yay. Ooh, nice. 13 points of damage.
Okay. All right, so you've struck this one, and it's your go, Griveth. You now have a big one and a little one, both of which have taken damage.
Stay away from my Cantriel!
So what are you going to do? You're going to attack one? You're going to attack both?
The big one came up on Cantriel, right?
It was charging at Cantriel, and you use Sentinel to hit it.
I'll attack the smaller one first. Use my inspiration. Okay, that's 16. Does that hit?
Just.
Oh. 13 points of damage.
You drive Sir Bradford's honor in between the plates and withdraw it coated in blood. The Durgar, you can see that he's in pain, but he's still holding his ground.
All right. I'll go for that one again. Die. Oh, shit. That's 25.
That will hit.
Wow, I'm hot. That wasn't so
Hot brimstone.
hot brimstone. That's 9 points of damage.
This time, Sir Bradford's honor. It's like you have this spot locked in. You push Sir Bradford's honor in through the same place in between the plates, but you feel the blade sink in even deeper. And when you withdraw it, the Durgar just looks at you, clenches his teeth, gripping his war pick tight, and then he slides back against the pillar, dying with his war pick in his hand. That Durgar is dead.
Enjoy your trip to the abyss, foul scum.
All right, that's the end of Dark Griveth's turn. It's back to Cantriel and Thorgarn.
So it was the big guy who fell or the small one?
It was the little one. You have the big one that Griveth was nice enough to leave for you.
Oh, how lovely. All right, so seeing, oh my, here we go. So seeing that, seeing that the big guy is still around, she's going to step to the side slightly so that she's not within 5 feet of Griveth. And I'm going to use Thunderclap. And basically she's going to start like pounding her fist together really fast. And there's just this echoing explosion that emits from her hands. And it has to make a Constitution saving throw to see if it takes.
Okay. That was cocked. That is a natural 20.
You're re-rolling.
I was going to say, what? No, I'm not. Oh, yeah. Domain dice. This time I'm not going to change that yet. Reroll is an 18.
Ah, yep, he makes it.
It's the orange die in the center there. Now on an 18. All right. So you do see him wince just a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be enough to cause any kind of damage to him. Thorgarn, you hear this sort of rising roll of thunder and the commotion coming to the south. What are you going to do?
Well, I still got that one Thorgar in front of me who's unable to move.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
You're up engaged with that one.
I'm gonna try and bring him down. So he's paralyzed. So that means my attack rolls have advantage, and since I'm within 5 feet, all attacks are automatically a crit. What happens in your games if you have a crit automatically and then roll a natural 20? Do you do anything special?
Wait, hold on a second. Say that again?
Because he's paralyzed, the condition paralyzed from hold person, attack rolls are made with advantage. Any attack that hits from someone within 5 feet is automatically a crit, as per the condition.
Right. And
So
then you rolled.
I rolled a natural 20.
I don't know. That's never happened before. That sounds to me like the gods are smiling down upon you, and that's going to be a automatic max double damage.
All right, so then that would be a total of 20.
Total of 20 damage. And what were you attacking with?
That was Faithkeeper, my Warhammer.
And where were you aiming? Keeping in mind
I-
this is the large one.
So he's large. That means I've got to be going for the crotch.
You bring Faithkeeper.
I'm short. I mean, this guy's now at least 8 foot tall. I mean, it's just a perfect target.
You bring Faithkeeper in an upward arc, and you feel something other than your own strength seems to momentarily, and you actually sense Father Griffin next to you, almost like he's occupying the same space as you, lending his strength to the power of Faithkeeper just for a moment. And when the Warhammer strikes into the crotch of this enlarged, paralyzed Durgar, it keeps going. And you sink the head of Faithkeeper into the nether regions of this Durgar, and when you withdraw it, also under the strength of Father Griffin, many of its insides spill out onto the floor as it is currently unable to collapse because it's still being held by Fig. But you can see its life leave its eyes, and at the same moment, Father Griffin seems to completely disappear for a moment.
Okay. So would I know that this guy's done? I don't have to continue with the rest of my attacks on him.
Oh yeah, you would know for sure that nothing's going to survive that.
All right, great. So then I will turn around. I believe there's enough room for me to get over to the enlarged one that Cantriel and Griveth are fighting. I got 35 move.
Well, you've got Talmud is currently engaged with one that's closer.
And I was closer to the one with Talmud, then I'll go fight him.
Yeah, because you are. Let me just refresh everybody with the map. So you were at the number 2 pillar on the north side. Talmud is at the number 3 pillar. Griveth and Cantriel and the other Durgar, that's all at the number 3 on the south. So you probably wouldn't even be able to get there.
All right, I've been picturing things in my mind differently, but that's fine. This is the one issue of not having the map with minis and what have you.
Right.
But by all means. So I will charge in on the one that Talmud's fighting. My second strike that's 23 to hit.
Yep, that is of course a hit.
This is not an automatic crit or any paralyzed or nonsense. So that is going to be a 9 damage.
Let's see. This is this one. That is a hit.
All right. So
I mean, yes, that hits and does a good amount of damage, but he's still standing.
All right. So my final strike with the war pick is a 25 to hit.
Yes.
And that comes in for a whopping single point of damage.
Oh, you're offhand attacking, aren't you?
Yeah. Offhand does not get the modifier.
All right.
I'm not raging, so.
Talmud. Thorgarn has just come in, drawn some more blood from this one that you've been wailing on, but it still stands.
Then he'll look over. Oh, it's good to see you, cousin. Welcome. And he will swing. Do you do advantage for flanking? Are we flanking?
Technically, yeah.
Okay. I will take advantage. Oh, that's a 20. Thank you.
Okay. So that is automatic max damage plus die roll again.
All right, so max damage is 16 plus further 4, so 20.
As you come in and you finish with this offhand attack, Thorgarn, just barely grazing this Durgar, it sort of spins itself, pressing itself against the pillar. Talmud doesn't even miss a beat, swings Gerta around in an arc, and the next thing you know, blood and brain matter are splattering across you as Talmud slams the head of Gerta into the head of the Durgar. The body slumps between the two of you. That one is very much dead.
That's payback.
That's right. Thorgarn did the exact same thing by killing a Grick and getting you coated. I had actually forgotten about that, so that's fortuitous.
Hey, I didn't kill any Gricks. He took all of my kills of Gricks, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Fig, you are currently holding a dead and a very dead enlarged Durgar that you can see is starting to shrink back to its normal size, dangling, or rather not dangling. Well, dangling from its nethers is most of its innards. What would you like to do?
Fig is going to drop the concentration and drop the spell. And looking over and noticing that they're all over there, kind of handling it, Fig is going to start just looking at this dark dwarf, because he's different. He's never seen anything like him before. So he is going to just kind of lay him down and just begin to just kind of look at him over, just poke and prod and lift his arm up, put it back down, and just kind of start observing.
Okay, go ahead and make, depending on the nature of the way you're looking at him, you can either make an investigation check or you can make a medicine check.
I don't know that Fig is looking for anything, so maybe a medicine check would make more sense.
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
That is a 13.
So, comparing to your database of knowledge absorbed from the books you've read, the limited engagements you've had with a variety of creatures, and basic understanding of humanoid anatomy, for the most part, though arranged in a much different order lying on the floor, the internal organs of this gray dwarf seem to align with what you know most of these humanoid creatures to have, and you're able to determine that it seems to have these gray dwarves seem to have this innate ability. It's through no means of magical spells or anything like that. It's a sort of innate magic that allows them to increase their size at will. So you kind of glean a little bit of knowledge about Durgar.
Yeah, and you can just hear, well, probably not anyone can hear, but Fig's just kind of like muttering to himself, just, oh, interesting, curious, and just kind of looking at him.
I think Talmud kind of comes around the corner, looking on, just kind of checking on everybody after the combat, making sure everybody's okay.
Combat's not done.
Oh, it's not. Never mind.
No,
I am a liar and a sneak thief.
There is still one enlarged Durgar that is engaged with Griveth and Cantriel, primarily Cantriel, as it looks down at her and says in a much deeper voice,
I told you to go back the way you came.
And he's going to swing his war pick at you. And just in case, regardless of what happens. Oh, that's a 5. So he's going to miss you with a 9, Cantriel. I was hoping that'd be much more impressive.
And sure, but I never do what I'm told to do.
So yeah, he burns his action swinging his war pick at you again, just with this.
All right, I'm
Go
gonna
back.
Griveth.
I'm going to sentinel attack him when he did that.
All right.
That's a 20.
That'll hit.
That is 10 points of damage.
All right. He is still up.
Why won't he die?
So now that was your sentinel attack. It's your actual attack now.
All right, attack. Ooh, that's 24.
Yeah.
That's 12 points of damage.
How do you want to end this? Since it's only fitting, since you're the one that started this.
Right. So he jabs a sword up under the kind of the jawbone and like kind of rips and twists it, and as he flicks the sword out, it just totally rips the jawbone out with tongue and all. Just the jawbone just goes swinging like a frisbee, and against the wall, and the thing, blood is just, and he just falls down, and blood just sprays everywhere.
Just for humor's sake, can I be coming in that direction to attack and have the jawbone hit me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
somebody needs to clip. Somebody needs to clip
back.
Scotty's description.
It falls back, and as Thorgarn's like, oh, getting up there to help, he just gets showered in a blood spray that just comes from the gaping wound that I left, and it's like, all right, I didn't get us killed, great, but I think we need a rest.
Now you are out of combat. There are 4 of these regular of these male Duragar, 2 on the other side of the room in various states of dismemberment, and the room is filling with the scent of burning flesh as the Gored, the female Duragar, is burning up in that fire pit. What would you like to do?
So why did we start this fight?
Ask this one. He's the one who lost his head.
Why are we trying to make friends? Why are we trying to parlay with demon worshippers and slave takers?
I understand that Thorgar are not good people. Believe me, I'm a dwarf. I got my own issues with them, but we don't need to kill everything in our path.
And why didn't you tell me that they can turn large?
They can grow bigger,
Yes.
by the way.
Well, I might have held off.
Well,
I doubt it very much.
I was not expecting you to just charge in like a fool. I was expecting to have a conversation and maybe gather some information. We have
It worked, didn't it?
right, and some of you got all
I
injured.
took it by surprise.
It didn't work that well, and Cantriel's going to motion to the spear sticking out of her thigh.
Oh my God. Oh, Cantriel. Oh, geez. He's just like, everything on hold.
So while people are trying to grumble and complain. We're gonna, pull the bodies together and see whether there's anything of note or interest or value on these guys. I know Dorgar, fancy money more than anything else, so perhaps they've got some loot on them.
So yeah, you're able to pull all of the Durgar together, and you manage to find amongst them a total of 12 platinum pieces.
Not bad.
And 48 gold pieces. You also find 2 intact healing potions, and you see that one of the healing potions had basically boiled away, had been on Guard's body. Cantriel, as they are pulling together all of the bodies, I assume you're pulling the spear out of your leg? Or are you?
I'd probably be doing like quick cure wounds on self type of situation. Yes.
Okay. As you do this, in that moment where you pull the spear out and the blood starts to flow from the open wound and the magic courses from your fingers, the sounds of you all throughout all of this, there's still been that slightly from the south, that rhythmic clang clang of a hammer against an anvil. But Cantriel, that the sounds of your companions just talking and moving around takes on a sort of distant quality. The magic flowing from your hands seems to do so almost as if in slow motion. You can actually, for a moment, you can see what always looks like sort of colored light emanating. You now can see that within these particles of light are sigils, arcane symbols. You hear one of the strikes of a hammer against an anvil, but it sounds like thong. All around you, time seems to have slowed. And you hear, Cantriel, as if somebody is speaking in your ear. Cantriel, you're so close, darling. So close. And it is once again your mother. What do you do?
I'd audibly gasp and look around to see if anyone else heard that at all.
Everybody seems to be in this sort of the state of not quite frozen. Everything is moving in extreme slow motion. As you move, it's almost like tracers. It's kind of like being heavily intoxicated, but without the dizziness. Even the fire that still sputters, you actually can see starbursts of light as the particles of flame are shooting upward, and you can even see pieces of the weave, the arcane force and arcane sigils within the flame itself. Looks like red sigils, as if you're seeing the last remnants of the burning healing potion mixing with the flame in slow motion. Nobody is noticing because everybody is caught in a moment.
Where are you?
I'm here. So close. But still far away. You could keep coming closer. I can sense you.
How will I know where to go?
Keep going downward.
Is it just you?
Yes. And no. Cantriel. Be safe. But hurry. Watch out for... And in that moment, everything snaps back to normal speed. The last flow of arcane sigils blurs back into light. The sound all comes swinging back into focus as you hear that. And you hear Thorgarn and whoever else might be helping them as they're going through the bodies. You hear the clinking of the coins that they found. And all of that has transpired in the moment that takes place between the beating of your heart. And that actually, I think that actually is going to be a good place to stop for tonight.
I'd say so, yeah.
I don't want to take away from that moment. And this obviously turned into a very negotiations deteriorated very quickly.
I wonder why.
So that's just how it goes sometimes. You never know what's going to set Griveth off. But yeah, that was actually, for me, that was kind of fun because I've actually never run Durgar before. So I was kind of looking forward to this encounter. And honestly, this is one of those things where you can't really, I mean, you can plan so much, but I mean, Thorgarn had good intentions and it seemed everybody else did as well, to attempt the negotiations. But it, honestly, did it really look like the negotiations were going that well? But Griveth is very much one to negotiate with his blade. Fig has learned a little bit about Durgar anatomy. Thorgarn, Talmud, and Griveth have definitely continued their history of splattering things. I definitely need somebody to clip Scotty's description of that killing blow because it was like there's a and a so I want that clipped. And Cantriel, for the second time since entering this area, has heard her mother calling to her. What can it mean? Find out next week on Dawnbringers. Actually, we are going to have a discussion amongst us. Hey, you know Gasai So Broken? Has just donated $10, which is 2 domain dice. In the message says, I'm not one to randomly donate, but I joined briefly because I noticed Ted from Nerdarchy. I was going to watch something else, but was immediately enraptured. As a fellow online DM, you have proven to me that good storytelling still makes an amazing game. And then continued in the chat, can only put 255 characters in a donation message, but I'm aware of the stream's ending. Still amazing DM. Thank you, Gasai So Broken.
thank you so much. I'll put the domain dice up right now. The players greatly appreciate it because it does help them when I try to kill them. And I appreciate you contributing to the stream as well. I hope you will come back to watch more. We'll be here every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. As I was saying right before I was interrupted for a good reason, we're going to talk amongst ourselves and decide if we are going to do a regular Dawnbringers session next week without V. V is going to be well, I'll let V tell you where she's going to be in a moment. Or, which, I mean, we just kind of make that decision amongst ourselves. Or we might try doing another side quest, or who knows? Maybe we'll play another quest givers thing. So we'll figure that out amongst ourselves. But rest assured that the rest of us will be here next Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Before we go, I'm going to let everybody, since we didn't take a break because we got so caught up in the combat, I'm going to let everybody tell you where you can find them, in the, when they're not here. And then I'm going to tell you a couple things before we get out of here for the night. So, V, where are you going to be next week? Why aren't you going to be with us?
Had to find my mouse. Sorry. I won't be here next week because I'm actually going to be up at PAX East. I'm going to be on a panel Friday morning, 10 a.m. in the Bumblebee Theater. Are you playing a role? It's with myself, Kelly the Opera Geek, Era Savad, Eugenio Vargas, and Dr. B as our moderator. It's absolutely wonderful. I cannot wait. So if you're going to be at PAX East, make sure to come over and say hi. But that's why I won't be here on Thursday night because, got to drive to get there. But that's where you're going to find me next week. You can also find me on my YouTube channel. I do craft tutorials every other Friday and every Wednesday, schedule permitting. I do live streams of miniature painting. I like to play here on this channel. I also like to play over on Scraticus Academy on Twitch as well. And that's usually where you're going to find me these days, pretty much. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Jeremy, what do you got going on?
Hey everybody, I am Jeremy. I have a YouTube channel as well called the Erasmas Expeditions. I do a lot of live play games and things. I have a campaign currently running that has Jake in it. We should be playing not this coming
two Wednesdays,
but the next. Yeah, looking very much forward to that. I have a couple of other videos on there about crafting and usually talking about RPGs. I'm also 1/3 of the Dudes of Yore podcast, which can also be found on YouTube with my friends Jeff Doty and Chad Nick. We talk about RPGs and things. And tomorrow night, I'm very, very excited. I have a series of videos on my channel called The Help Action, where I bring on a guest and we discuss a specific topic. And tomorrow night, Scotty is coming on, and we are going to be talking about tangible tools for your RPGs. So I'm very excited about that. And as always, Jake, you run a masterful game, and these players are fantastic. I've had a pretty rough week and a half or so at work, and this game has done wonders to kind of bring up my spirits. And once again, the muscles in my jaw are now sore. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And I just want to second the, Jeremy's channel. I love getting to play in a monthly campaign on his channel. And the Help Action series, having also been a guest on there in the past, is an awesome series. So be sure to check that out. And of course, I'm pointing up, I don't know why, when I mean to point over here, V has some just amazing content on her channel. And you can oftentimes find her on Wednesday afternoons doing live streams over the lunch break. I often will pop into the chat. Well, not often. I occasionally will pop into the chat because it's on my lunch break and I'm usually taking lunch. But if I happen to be taking lunch in my office, I try to stop by. But honestly, I learn a lot from watching V do weekly mini painting because I don't do a lot of miniature painting. So definitely be sure to check out her channel. Another channel that I'm on at different times is Ted. What do you got going on?
Hey everybody, I am Ted from Nerdarchy. You can find us over on YouTube. We've got literally thousands of videos all geared towards role-playing games with a heavy focus towards 5th edition, and occasionally we talk about other stuff. We also have the website, just nerdarchy.com, where we post, regular articles, or if you want to get Nerdarchy swag. As Jake says, he is a player in the monthly game that I run. And, if you happen to, like what's going on there, we have some interesting things coming up in the next several months. I have to say a big thank you to Jake, because he's now actually producing that stream, and it's making it, that much better with a cool layout and what have you. V has joined us last month. Next game is going to be April 5th. And we'll see how things go with that. Jake, I enjoy being in this game. Similar to what Jeremy said, it's an amazing cast that you've put together, and all the antics of all of us together. It is just a phenomenal game to be in, and I greatly appreciate it. I highly look forward to this every single week, and kind of as to what everybody else is saying, with all of the awesome crafters that we have here. I personally, I've made a wish list, a watch list, a replicate list, call it what you will, but I literally have a whole list of, these are the things that I've seen these awesome crafters do. Can I do the same? I'm a novice miniature painter and kit basher, and there's a lot that I'm planning to learn from the combined masses here. So,
well, thank you, Ted, and it is an honor as well to be on the Nerdarchy channel once a month, and I do enjoy that I can share my skills and help produce that stream, so that we can get that content out there. About a year and a half ago ish, maybe close to 2 years, I don't even remember at this point, when Ted invited me to play in those games. I barely knew Ted, but we've become friends over this time, and when we were getting ready to start this second season, I've talked about this before, it was a no-brainer. Ted was pretty much telling me, I want to play in this kind of a game so badly. And I'm like, well, we're getting ready to start a new season. Ted just fit in with this group so perfectly. It almost begs the question, why didn't we have Ted in season 1? But I'm glad that you could be a part of this, and it just adds so much more to that. And I love that we have so much of this cross interaction going on between everybody.
It just makes it that much more of a connected group. I run far more than I get to play. So like right now, this is the only thing that I get to look forward to as a player. So,
well, I'm fortunate that I get to play in Jeremy's game once a month, and I also get to play once a month in Ted's game, but every other week I get to play Curse of Strahd over on Dice on Ice with Megan. Megan, what you got going on?
Hi, I'm Megan. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me in the cupboard underneath your stairs when you look at 3 a.m.
Jeez, not fine. It's very creepy.
Tonight, yeah. But no, I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, where we do stuff. We run games, and we give advice, and we have a few videos up. We're planning on making more. The other thing is we also have a book. It actually got the Electrum, I think it's the Electrum badge on DriveThruRPG not too long ago, and we are actually very, very close to getting the next badge up. So it's an awesome book, and I'm not just saying that because my name is in it. So, I mean, maybe a little bit, but
hey, my name's in it too.
Oh yeah, lots of people's names are in it. So.
Yeah, this is some quality content right here, and is sitting right here with all of my pile of 2-run games. I've produced a stream on the channel here last summer, run by Marquise, Megan, and Connor, the authors of Griveth, were players in it. It was called The Last 7 Days, and so I got to watch some of the earliest Griveth taking place. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and so there will be publishing new stuff for this in the summer, so look out for that. And yeah, so thanks so much for having me on this. I agree, this is probably, I laugh so much in this game. Like, side chat, just whatever is happening in the game is just so much fun. So, and it's awesome. So thank you so much for having me.
And Megan is one of those people that a year and a half ago, almost 2 years, but a year and a half ago, we didn't know each other. I think the first time we really met was at AtCon in 2017.
That's when I first started playing RPGs. Like,
and then you started running a bunch of stuff, and I got into some of your games, and you got into a lot of my games. Megan is probably the person I have played with the most online, either in her games or her in my games, or very rarely, I think it's only happened a couple times that we've both been players in somebody else's game. Megan and I'm just going to tease this. Megan and I are in talks we don't know when this is going to happen, but I feel like the more we talk about it, the sooner it's going to happen. But more likely than not, we're looking at this as possibly being a summer project. But there is going to be it is going to be a stream game, but it's going to be a sort of a collaboration between MTD and Dice on Ice, and it will be a mini campaign, and it is going to be a one-on-one campaign. It is going to be just Megan and I, and it will be set in the Harbinger universe, which is a currently in play test, but is a setting from Absolute Tabletop. It's a very robust and awesome sci-fi setting with the 5th edition D&D rules. We're very excited about it. I just want to tease it, so we haven't told it anywhere other than here, but it's going to be very awesome. Finally, DM Scotty.
And I'm turning my mic on, so yeah, I didn't start talking without my mic on, so cool. Okay. All right, yeah, guys, I'm DM Scotty. I have a channel called theDMsCraft, and I take junk and I make it into dungeon stuff that I use at my table. I'm also part of the Quest Givers. See the little exclamation point logo, pretty cool. We're got some really exciting stuff going on. Well, as a DMsCraft, I'm always releasing new videos, but at Quest Givers, we have some really cool stuff coming up. We got 3D printed miniatures coming up of our monsters, so I'm super excited about that. I actually printed some up myself, and they're really cool, so I can't wait to put those out. We also got the campaign continues, the North Road campaign continues. I just love what Gareth and I are coming up with. Tooting my own horn there, but we also are doing collaborations with other channels that you guys are going to see here soon, right? Wink, wink, Ted. And but that's not the only collaboration. We have other collaborations where we're actually writing like standalone modules with someone else. So it's Quest Givers and someone else writing, and then doing some content like I'm doing like terrain content, so maybe doing like terrain pictures and stuff of their own terrain for the modules. So pretty cool stuff. So that's all coming up, and wow, yeah, we got great stuff coming. We also Gareth and I also did an NPC series where we're making NPCs. So we did videos of making NPCs, and then we're gonna have, you can buy the NPC. You can either just transcribe it from the video, or you could buy it right off the site, like super cheap. And we got it kind of laid out like all our products is like generic. It's not like for one system or the other. You can use it with anything, but it's kind of like reminiscent of an old school kind of character sheet, so it's kind of laid out that way, just really easy to find the different things about the character, not just block text of a character on a sheet that you got, oh God, where is that? I got to try to find where did I see that thing about the character? It's like, here's the character's goal, and here's the character's catchphrase, and here, so it's all laid out really nicely. So at a glance, you can find that information, which is how we try to lay out our Quest Givers modules, right? So that's some exciting stuff we have coming on Quest Givers, and I just want to say about this game, it's so fun. Like we have so much fun on Thursdays. Thank you, Jake, for giving us the room to do our stuff, be a little crazy, have fun with it, and playing along with everything. And just thanks for hosting this great event. I really appreciate it, and I'm just so glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
I could not be happier that the D&D gods aligned when what started off as a short mini campaign has turned into a couple seasons, and hopefully will continue for a while. This has just become as Jeremy mentioned, I enjoy playing D&D. And I love all my other games that I'm a part of, but we've all talked about there's just something about this game. And I love the audience interaction. I love that we can interact with people and that they can sense that connection. And tonight I was seeing a lot of this. One of the things I love seeing is people talking about things that are happening in the game, or asking questions, or commenting on, noticing things that I do slightly different. And I'm hoping that, because we are very beginner friendly, everybody should definitely have no reservation to ask questions in the chat. Many of us are monitoring, and there are enough other people in the chat that can answer questions as well. But we're very beginner friendly, and hope that you learn something just watching our style of play. We're different than a lot of others, and we do things a little bit different, but we play to tell the story that we're trying to tell, and let these characters unfold how they unfold. And hey, it's not for everybody, but it's for us, and apparently so many of you are enjoying it, and that just brings that extra special level to all of us. So I hope, I'm going to talk about this one quick time. I'm just going to flash the graphic really quick. Be sure to follow at MTD_Jake so you can learn more in the coming weeks about Jasper's Game Week that is coming right here to Twitch, May 12th through the 16th. I don't remember if I mentioned this when I talked about it early on, but the flagship event for Jasper's Game Day happening at Zig Games on May 11th. Satine Phoenix will be there. I'm actually running a spotlight event. I will be at the game store at Zig Games, running I'll be running Tomb of the Mummy Lord, which many followers of Mini Terrain Domain will know is the 2-story stacked terrain pyramid that I built 3 years ago, and I've now run over 25 times at cons and streams for friends, and I will be running that at Zig Games for whatever 5 people have signed up to play in that game. So that's the kickoff event, and then we'll be doing 5 days, 40 hours. That's 8 hours every day. One of the things I forgot to mention is we have a ton of great sponsors. Wizards of the Coast, D&D Beyond. One of the prizes that's going to either be up for raffle or more likely than not an auction is a legendary bundle. That is an almost $500 value, with all of the money raised towards those, of course, going for to benefit local organizations organized through the American Association of Suicidology to prevent teen suicide. We have prizes coming from, as I said, Wizards of the Coast, Dogmite Games, Wormwood Gaming, so many other, some Axe and Shield. Hey, look at that, showing up. Better late than never, he says, dropping 2,500 bits. That is 5 more domain dice. Joey, I think you just did it. I knew it was going to be you that would do it. I haven't yet made the plus 40 domain die. So I will make a note that these guys are actually at, let's see, they're at 37. So you're at 42 domain dice. I need to make some more graphics this week to keep up with all of the love. And it's fitting that's 42.
42 is a good number. So.
It is a very good number, so with all these wonderful sponsors, we also have, I've teased this before, we're getting very close to being able to reveal it, not relieve it. I've partnered with Brian from Initiative Coffee Company. He's been a guest on a couple games here, and we are doing a thing where there is a coffee roast called Metade that will have the Mini Terrain Domain logo on it. It is actually called Metade Roast, and you will be able to purchase coffee, this coffee, with proceeds, profits from that coffee going directly to benefit the Jasper's Game Day Foundation, the American Association of Suicidology. We have a sponsor lined up to potentially donate enough coffee during the live stream that we might actually be able to give away a pound of coffee every single hour. So we're doing 40 hours of streaming. We're going to need all that coffee. So lots of great things happening at Mini Terrain Domain, many of which is made possible because of people like our patron saint of domain dice, Chameleon Fam, Joe, surprise donor, Gasai, So Broken, who literally just popped in and dropped $10 and said, "Here, have some domain dice." Quinian BC, Star in 19, Dice on Ice RPG with that stealth resubscribe. More bits from Quinian. So much love from you, the audience. And just know that in addition to the domain dice that you're affecting, you're having your own influence on this game, that all of this support goes right back into the channel to allow me to continue to create more and better production values and other things, and be able to do things like partnering with other people for awesome things like the forthcoming stream. So I just want to say a big thank you. I've already thanked the audience so much, but Scotty, V, Jeremy, Ted, and Megan, I love you guys. This game means so much to me every week. I love all of you guys. For real. And I just can't wait for the next time we get to play already. But rest assured, people, offline, we're always talking. So we stay in touch all the time. Some of us through multiple chats because of multiple games going on. So with that, we are going to get out of here. We're going to end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.